aspects of aging are the same challenges to your emotions and to your relationships that happen throughout your life. As you age, as you go past that point where people expect you to just kick back and relax or enjoy your grandparenthood or to explore the next act of your life or just to take care of yourself because you've spent your whole life taking care of someone else. At that point, the emotions can come from a different angle, or they can intensify, or your relationships just seem to flip at a certain point as you continue to age. So, I have 3 to talk about today, to talk about in this episode. But before I get to that, I do want to say that the answer to my question in the last episode about the CEO of Caremanity and the one who provides for you the free file of life, that person's name is Nancy May, May. Nancy May. So you know you found the right one if you found Nancy. All right. I'm usually very intentional, but unintentionally, I just zeroed in on 3 aspects of aging that are all alliterations. So it was for today, it's hospice hospitality. It's not what you think, or at least maybe not the first thing that comes to your mind. The next one, the venting vortex. And the third one for today is peer pressure. Your demographic is shoulding, SHOULD, shoulding all over you again. So for the first one, hospice hospitality. So rather than emphasizing the hospice part, which is maybe when people don't understand why you're making the choices that you're making, they think that you must be coming to the end of your life soon. But the emphasis instead is on hospitality. So entertaining the thought of the rest of your life, the third of your life, whether that is going to be days or whether that is going to be decades, perhaps you really have no clue. So, what you choose to do next is a little different than what you chose to do up to this point where you start looking differently. You've been looking forward, and now you're kind of turning backwards and saying, "What do I want to do while I am still living?" What Well, I call it the backwards bucket list. So rather than what do I want to do before I die, instead, the backwards bucket list is what do I want to give? What do I choose to give while I still live? Because you didn't really think that way, maybe in your 40s or your 20s, as you had, you were gaining speed and directed toward the next goal or the next challenge to overcome. But when you've come to this demographic, because you kind of turn and kind of look backwards and go, what would I like to enjoy today in this moment, knowing that I could have decades to go? So I have that aspect page full of ideas, very general ideas of things that you might like to give to someone, and also how that can affect the relationships positively, or it gets kind of dicey because maybe they're trying to think, what are you depressed? Are you expecting something bad to happen? And your opportunity to just kind of get them in the habit starting now of saying, this is what I choose to give now. And this is the significance to me so that you know about it. Maybe you've documented that, or you've made a video recording of it, or you just talk with them about it and jot down a few notes in your pre-act your age aspect of aging page. The next one is the venting vortex. Now, I vent. There are moments where I feel like I'm safe and I can just complain about something that's been bothering me. I've been stuffing it down and get it out and get it over with. I can go back to it and start mulling it around in my brain again, and I complain about it. But thankfully, there are other things that come into my life. So my mouth is busy actually doing, well, things like this. If you have a lot of time on your hands, a lot of time to mull things over, and well, you don't have a resolution. You don't have a feeling of that chapter is closed. And so you bring up those same words again, but then it happens again and again. And I am again not talking about someone who has entered some sort of dementia, who doesn't remember what they said a few minutes or a few hours ago. This is someone who just has had so much time on their hands that they are swirling downward instead of spiral climbing upward to the next adventure or the next interaction in this part of their living. So, venting vortex, there's so many words that come to mind, like a whirlwind or a cyclone or spinning. And it just seems to come around again and again and again. And as it gets tighter, it's very difficult to wedge in any of the positives or any of the neutrals, because it just seems to be about complaining. And this may be just something that doesn't feel fixed and maybe cannot be fixed. Just happens over and over again. And it impacts your relationships because they're thinking, oi, that is being talked about again. And I know we're going to have to hear the whole story over again. And it's not good for you. This is you in your own future. It's not good for your body. You've already heard so much about that. It's triply bad for your body because it's coming around so often, and your body's already been through quite a bit at this point. Now, the third aspect of aging is peer pressure. So here is someone who feels that they are in the same category as you, and they have advice to share. And they may come at you in a manner that you are feeling attacked, you are feeling put down, you are being, they're even condescending to you as though they've done it right and you ought to be. It can be something as minor as your outward appearance that really doesn't impact them, but they feel that they need to talk to you about how you should look at your age. And they could mean well, and they could have advice that you might actually enjoy. But how you tackle that at this point, you're done with the who's sitting at the popular table, and you've advanced beyond having maybe your parents um, give you advice because they've been through years of life and they want you to not fall into the same trenches, pits that they have stumbled into, and they just want your life to be better. This could also be someone who just feels like you are making your choices, finances, your choices of social media, your choices of vacations or your hobbies or your relationships are just making them uncomfortable and they want to fix you. You may be beyond that. And what can you do about that? There's suggestions on that aspect of aging page. So, this is my question for you to explore for next time. And that is, when you unplug a full sink or bathtub of water, when you are viewing a video of a tornado or a hurricane, maybe on TV, which way does that water or that wind vortex spin, cycle? Which way does it go? And how do you describe that? And what factors come into play? So that's my question for next time. And that has to do with the venting vortex. Which direction is this going? So you can explore that one. You may already have an answer for that one. I would also like to point out that the prompts in on the journal pages in the Pre-Act Your Age journal, those prompts include the prompt to choose a better case scenario. I tend to shy away from superlatives. This would be the best thing. Oh, that could change. But this might be a better option or a better outcome, or even being given a choice between this and that. Neither of them I really like, but if I have to choose one, I would rather have this one. So, better case scenario. You thinking hypothetically into your own future, emotionally and relationally. Which of these, there might be two, there might be one that I haven't suggested on the page that you think really fits your situation. If you've seen it in someone else's life who is maybe in their 80s, 90s, 100s. You think, if I have to tackle this challenge, that would be the one that I think I could handle most easily, that I would handle well, that I would handle in the right way for myself. So that's just one of the prompts, and it has some selections just to get you started. I'd also like to tell you what I'm going to talk about in the next episode. This time it's going to be a two-parter, disregarded, part A and part B. Disregarded, part A, is being disregarded in decision making that is about me. And the second is being disregarded because you are a time traveler. There's the alliteration again. And just because alliteration seems to be my thing, I did choose as the third one. It's time traveler, was what I just talked about. This time it is trick or treat. And it's how you talk to me and how you talk about me. It's you and how you feel and how your relationships are impacting your reactions and how they can be fortified by your chosen responses that are thoughtful, and they include yourself fully and also those around you who mean the most to you. So I will end with the fact that myself, Christine A. Smith, I have identified 52 different aspects of aging. There's actually more, but when you're going to put out a book, you have got to just let go of that helium balloon and just let it go. So I've chosen 52. They're general, they're common, they are typical to when you are advancing beyond what would be the typical age of retirement. And I've put them together in a book for myself. And I'm sharing them with you because we all age together, but we all age on our own in our own way. And this is your opportunity to tackle many of the typical challenges, issues, topics that are very generally associated and very specific to advancing age. I've put this all together for myself, for you, because I am the aging enthusiast.